Until and unless we have a plan, we cannot carry out any business activities. Whatever plan you are doing, it is for only one time or one event. So that we call it as a single-use plan. It is a comprehensive plan for accomplishing an organization's objective. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, Faculty, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence. In continuation of my sessions on planning, this is the fourth session on planning. In this session, we will be just discussing about the various types of plans. So in all my previous sessions, we discussed about the meaning, importance, planning process, features, etc. Now we will look into the various types of plans. Now, plans are single-use plans and standing plans. Now, what do you mean by single-use plans? What do you mean by standing plans? Now, let us look into the matter written here. Now, plans can be classified into several types depending on the use and the length of the planning period. So, we can classify the plans based on the number of times the plan is used and also the time frame for which it has been planned. So, based on that, we can have a broad classification. That is the single-use plan. So, a plan that is made for a one time. So, one time you use the plan and then you discard it. And then we have the standing plans. So, standing plans means they will be in the organization until and you cannot change these standing plans. And if you have to change the standing plans, then there should be a meeting and a policy regulation. Only then you can change the standing plans. Now, an organization has to prepare a plan before making any decision related to business operation. So, this we all know that until and unless we have a plan, we cannot carry out any business activities. So, to have any business activity, we need to have a plan. So, what is plan? Planning nothing but decision making. So, decision relating to a business operation or undertaking any project. So, for any project, so you are taking up a new project for the business, then you should have a project plan. So, what does this project plan involve? So, it will involve the number of human resource you need, the financial resources you need, the time you need, the machinery you need, raw materials you need. So, all these things will go into the project plan. So, plans can be classified into several types depending on the use and length of the planning period. So, depending on the use, we can classify these plans. Then, next is and help to achieve operational goals. So, short-term horizon means certain plans are made for one day or 1 week or 1 month and they are helping to achieve the organization or operational goals. So, what is the production for 1 week? What is the production target for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month? So, in this way, we can have short-term horizons and which will help in attaining the operational goals, and they are classified into single-use plans and standing plans. Now, what is a single-use plan? As the name itself suggests, it is a plan for one-time event or a project. So, whatever plan you are doing, it is for only one time or one event. So, that we call it as a single-use plan. For example, it may be a programs, budgets and project plans. So, program, suppose there is a program in the organization. Now, you will decide at what time is the program will start and what is the actual program. So, you will write in detail what is the agenda for the day. So, first will be the welcome song and then welcoming the guests, then you have the prayer. So, you will have a detailed program. So, where you will fix the time limit for each and every aspect of the program. So, this is what we call as a single-use plan. So, once the program is over, that plan is discarded. So, in this way, we should understand that a single-use plans are used and discarded immediately. Once the plan has been implemented, you just discard those plans. So, it includes budgets, it includes programs, it also includes the projects. So budget means, we all know, budget includes the expression of the plan in terms of quantity or in terms of money. So whatever the plan, what is the cost of the plan, that you will be expressing in terms of a budget. So budget is also a single use plan. So once you plan for the whole year, after you finish off the whole year, so that budget will be discarded and you make a new budget for the next year. So in this way, this single use plans, it is developed for a one-time event or a project. So it is designed to ensure that internal operations run smoothly. So usually single use plans are designed for the internal use of the organization and it is for one time only, and it is usually developed once, but it is modified from time to time to meet the business needs as required. So it will be modified as and when there is a change in the program. So whatever the changes are there, you make minor modifications and then you can make use of this single use plan. Now, next is the standing plans. Now, in standing plans, we can see that it includes policies, procedures, methods, and rules. Now, standing plans means it includes all these policies, procedures, methods, and rules. Now, first we will look into what is the meaning of the word policy. What is a policy? A policy is a general form of standing plan that specifies the organization's response to a certain situation, like admission policy of an educational institution. So, a policy means it is something, it has been decided well in advance by the organizational top management of the organization. Now, take the example of the admission policy. So, admission policy of an educational institution means the educational institution may decide to take only those persons who have scored above the 75% average. So, above the 75%. So, they may not give seats for those candidates who are below the low scorers, that is the below 75%, they may not give. So, this is one example for a policy. Or a policy may be related to the leave policy of the organization, the promotion policy of the organization, the sales policy of the organization. So, you can see that these policies help the manager to interpret the policies in his or own way. He cannot use his discretion. He will have to go by the policy of the organization. So, in response to a certain situation, so whatever the situation may be, the company would have thought of the situation well before in advance, and on anticipation of such situation, it would have laid down some policies. So, those policies are to be adopted by the manager whenever such and such a situation arises in the normal course of business activity. Then next, procedures. Procedures describe the steps to be followed in a particular circumstance, like procedure for reporting progress in production. Now, procedures means they tell you the step-by-step process of reporting. So, how you can report the progress in production. So, whether it is on an hourly basis, daily basis, or a weekly basis, or a monthly basis. Next, we go for the meaning of the word method. What is method? Method provides the manner in which a task has to be performed. So, it will provide the manner in which it will tell us how the task has to be performed. And lastly, rules. So, they are very clearly stated as to exactly what has to be done, like reporting for work at a particular time. So, rules are very clearly stated. So, what are the rules to be followed by the employees of the organization in order to have discipline in the organization? So, all these things are related to standing plans. Next, we look into the objectives. We all know that the first step in the planning process is setting up of objectives. Now, objective, we all know the meaning of the word objective. So, objective is the desired future position that the management would like to reach, or objective is the goal for which the management is working. So, all the business activities of the organization are directed towards achievement of the objectives of the organization. So, they are are very basic to the organization and are defined as the ends to which the management seeks to achieve by its operations. So they are nothing but they are the end result. So whatever is the desired result of the business organization, that is what we call by the word objective. So it may be termed as the goals, it may be called as the aims, or it may be called as the objectives. So everything they all mean, objective means they are the end result which the top management expects from its employees, or which the top management will be expecting, or it will be the result of all the business activities of the organization. Now, next, objectives should be expressed in specific terms. So, what is the specific terms? That is, objectives should be measurable in quantitative terms. Now, what do you mean by quantitative terms? For example, in a production unit, you should be able to specify what is the number of units of production you need in 1 month. So, it may be 10,000 units per month. So, at the end of the year, you will be able to have 1,20,000 units of production. So, this is how you will have to express the objectives. So, 10,000 units per month. So, that is the objective of the organization for the production department. The same way for the sales department, it will have its own objectives. So, in the form of a written statement, objectives will always be in the form of a written statement of desired result. So, this is a desired result which has to be, it is desired by the top management of the organization to be achieved within a given time period. So, what is the given time period within which these objectives have to be achieved? So, this is one of the types of plans. So, objective can be set for the organization as a whole, or objective can be set for a department, objectives can be set for our production unit. So, in this way, we can see that objectives can be set for a whole organization as a whole, and for a department, each objective will percolate down to each department, where each department will have its own objective to attain the final objective of the organization. Then next type of plan is strategy. Now, what do you mean by strategy? A strategy provides broad contours of an organization's business. So, strategy means it will provide us the broad framework. So, broad rules or broad policies or broad regulations of the organization. How the business will run. So, what is the production unit? What is the amount of sales we need? And what price the sales of units are being carried out. So, all these things will be in the form of strategy. So, it will also refer to the future decisions defining the organization's direction and scope in the long run. So, a strategy means future decisions. So, a strategy, in other words, you base your strategy based on your competitors' moves. So, you just see if your competitor is introducing a new product at a very low price, then you have to strategize your product so that it is available in the market. So, your product is also offered to the consumer at a lower price than your competitor's product. So, it is a set of future decisions defining the organization's direction. So, with the help of strategy, you will be able to take the organization in a particular direction and scope in the long run. So, you see that your organization is always in business. So, you introduce more and more product lines and see that your product is always in demand by the customer. Then, it is a comprehensive plan for accomplishing an organization's objective. So, a strategy will tell us what is the plan actually. So, it will be a comprehensive plan which is designed to attain the organization's objectives. Now, let us see what the comprehensive plan will include. Now, the comprehensive plan will include 3 dimensions. So, what are the 3 dimensions? It is determining long-term objectives. Now, when whenever you are preparing a strategy, you have to just think of the long-term objectives. What is the objective of the organization in the next 5 years or the next 10 years? So that will be the objective. Then next one is adopting a particular course of action. So you want to remain in business for the next 10 years, then what is the course of action you will be adopting? So that you will have to think. Then third one is allocating resources necessary to achieve the objective. So once you decide on the course of action, then you think of the various resources you need. So it may be the human resource, financial resource, then it may be the raw materials, machinery. So all these things go in together to see that there is a proper implementation of the strategy. So you plan for all the resources. What are the resources to be used? So all these things will be decided in a strategy. So they usually take the course of forming the organization's identity in a business environment. So with the help of a strategy, you will be trying to create your own identity in the business. So what is the business famous for? What is the organization famous for? What products are well used by the consumer, welcomed by the consumer? So all these things create an image of the company, and this creation of the image, it is done through the strategy. So it takes the course of forming the organization's identity. So the entire identity of the organization is determined based on this strategy. Then here you can see how the moves are being just like the chess coins. So you will be moving the pawns of the chess coin the same way based on the competitors' moves. So you will be strategizing your own moves. Then next type of plan is policy. So what is a policy? Policies are general statements. So they are general statements. It is not for X or Y or Z or A or B or C. So it is for everyone to be followed. So anybody is in charge of who is the manager of a department or a departmental head. So he will be making use of these policies in the day-to-day running of the organization. So they are general statements that guide thinking or channelize energies towards a particular direction. So with the help of these policies, you will be trying to see that the company moves in a particular direction. For example, it will be the sales policy. What is the sales policy? So this policy relates to the sales of the organization. For example, goods once sold cannot be taken back. So this is the sales policy of an organization. Now what does it mean? So once the sales have been done, so for any reason, customer has to check the product before leaving the business premises, and later on if he finds that there is any fault in the product, he cannot exchange the goods. So this is one of the most common sales policies which almost all the organizations follow. So this sales policy, suppose any customer comes to return the product, then the manager can easily show that this is our policy. So we do not exchange goods and services. So this is one of the most common policies followed by all the business organization. Then policies provide a basis for interpreting strategy, which is usually stated in general terms. So these policies provide a basis. So with the help of these policies, the manager is able to take decisions. So he cannot use his discretion, but he has to base his decisions on with the help of these policies. Now, these policies are guides to managerial action. So how the manager has to behave, what is the action he has to take, and the decisions, and what is the decision he is doing in implementation of the strategy. So what is what decision he has taken with related to the goods which have been returned. So how he has implemented the policy. So all these are the basis for policy. That is, the manager's decision will be based on the policy of the organization. So policies define the broad parameters within which a manager may function. So it will try to limit the manager's discretion. So he cannot cross these boundaries which is set by the top management. So he may use his or her discretion to interpret and apply a policy. So there are two types of policies here, the major policies and the minor policies. Now, what is this major policy and what is minor policy? So, major policy means they are the broad guidelines of the organization which everybody will know, whether it is the organization or the customers or the creditors or everybody who are the stakeholders of the organization, they will be knowing about the major policies. So it may relate to recruitment of the staff, it may relate to the sales policy, it may relate to the purchase policy. So all these major policies are rules laid down for the various activities of the organization, and it will be known by everybody. Everybody will know these major policies. Now, what are these minor policies? So, minor policies are something which is very, very internal to the organization. What is this internal? So, internal means for the internal running of the organization, you have some minor policies. Now, what are these minor policies? It may be the leave policy. Leave policy. So, what is the leave policy? So, how many CLs an employee will get in 1 year and how many ELs he will get. So, all these things will be laid down in the leave policy, and also it may relate to the, so these minor policies are in existence for the internal affairs of the organization. So, what is the promotion policy? Whether it is based on merit or whether it is based on experience. So, all these things which are internal issues, they will be called as the minor policies, and it will be known only to the employees of the organization. Employees and the top management will know about this minor policies, whereas major policies will be known by everyone. So, everybody who is related to the company will know what is a major policy. So, you should be able to understand what is a policy and how it is framed and what are the different types of policies, that is major policy and minor policy. Then next is the procedure. Now in the procedure we will be looking into, there are the routine steps on how to carry out the activities. So how the activities of the organization has to be carried out, that will be laid down in the procedure. They detail the exact manner in any work in which any work is to be performed. So how each work of an organization is to be performed, that we will be laying down in the procedure, and they will be specified in a chronological order. So they will go by the order of the work. So what is the work to be done first, next, third, fourth, like this. So it will be always in a chronological order. Then policies and procedures are interlinked with each other. So whether it is a policy or procedure, both are interlinked, and procedures are steps to be carried out within a broad policy framework. So suppose an employee has to apply for a leave, then what is the procedure? How he has to approach the superior to ask for a leave. So all this will be laid down. So the leave policy and the procedure are interrelated. Then next is the method. So method means it is the way of doing a work. So whenever a task is given, it provides the prescribed ways or manner in which a task has to be performed considering the objective. So what is the method of doing the task? If you can see the picture here, you can see how it is done. So there will be one fixed method of doing a job. So this will be based on the objective. Then it deals with the task comprising one step of a procedure and specifies how this step is to be performed. So for each procedure, so first thing is you have a broad policy, then we have a procedure, and in the procedure we have the method. So you are signifying, or you are coming to the minutest detail of the procedure. So it deals with a task comprising one step of a procedure and specifies how this step is to be performed. So it will tell us how each step has to be performed. So who will tell us? The methods will tell us. Then methods may vary from task to task. So depending on the work to be done, we can lay down the methods of work. Then why should we have a method? So when we have a good method, it helps us to save time, money and effort and increase the efficiency of the workers. So when you say properly what is the method to be followed by each worker, then there will be no room for any procrastination. So the workers will do the work as per the method, and in the long run he will be saving time, he will be saving money, and also he will be saving effort, and with this we can say that there is increase in efficiency. The next plan is a rule. Now what is a rule? So rules are specific statements that inform what is to be done. What is a rule? They are specific statements which tell us what is to be done. For example, what is the timings of the organization? At what time the employees should log into the organization? What is the dress code they will be following? And what are the weekly, when will the workers have weekly off? Then what is the lunch hour? Then so these rules are formulated to see that all the workers follow or behave in a disciplined manner. Then they do not allow for any flexibility or discretion. So there is no room for flexibility. The rules are same for everyone. So all workers have to log in at the specified time mentioned in the rule. So they are the simplest type of plans. So rules are the simplest type of plans because there is no compromise or change. They will not be changed unless a policy decision is taken. So until and unless there is a change of policy, there will be no change in the rules of any organization. So with the help of the rules, you can create a disciplined environment in the organization. Then the next type of plan is program. So just like you are having a program for a system, the same way these programs also will help us to in the day-to-day running of the organization. So they are detailed statements about a project which outlines the objectives, policies, procedures, rules, tasks, everything. So programs. So programs are detailed statements. So detailed statements about what? So detailed statements about a project. So project which outlines the objectives. So what is the objective of the project? What are the policies to be involved in the project? What is the procedure? What is the rules? What is the task? What is the human and physical resources needed? Budget? Everything will be decided in a program. So what is the human resource you need? What is the physical resources you need? So to implement any course of action, so all these will be decided under the program. Then here in a program, the minutest details are worked out, that is procedures, rules, budgets within the broad policy framework. So in the program, you will be working out the procedures, rules and budgets. So within the broad policy framework. So once you have the policy, then based on the policy, you have the procedure. Based on the procedure, you have the rules and the budget. So a program is detailed statement. Now, the last types of plans is the budget. So we all come across this word budget. This word budget is very common because every year we see the government which will be announcing the annual budget. So whenever the government announces the annual budget, people will be very curious to know what has been planned for them. A budget is a statement of expected results. It is a statement of expected results. What is the result you will be expecting? Expressed in numerical terms. So it is always in numerical terms. It is a plan which quantifies future facts and figures. So a budget is a plan which quantifies future facts and figures. So what is the budget means? In a budget, you will be knowing what is the production target you have to reach and what is the financial resources you will be using, what are the human resources you will be using, what is the amount of power you will be using, what is the time you will be using to reach that production target. So all this will be mentioned in a budget. So it is a plan which quantifies future facts and figures. So what you want to achieve in the end of this December. For example, you take the example of the year 2022. So what is the production target you will be setting for January 1st, 2023? So you will have to work out that. So that will be called as a budget. Then it may be also prepared to show the number of workers required in a factory at peak production times. So a budget is prepared for human resource planning or manpower planning, whatever you call. So for a production target to achieve, we need human resources. So what is the human resources you need? What is the quantity of human resources you need to reach the production target? So that we can mention in the terms of the budget. Then a budget is also a control device. It is a control device which deviations can be taken care of. So budget will specify the broad lines of the organization. So once it decides the production target, then it will decide what is the financial resource which has been given, which has been outlaid for that project. Then human resource, physical resource, then all other resources which are necessary to reach the production target. So all these things will be laid down in the budget, and it is a control device. So the financial expenditure of that plan cannot go beyond that budget. So whatever is presented in the budget, so that has to be taken care of, or you have to limit the expenditure to the budget, whether it is the human resource or the financial resource or any other physical resource. So you have to see that it is limited to that budget only. Then if there are any deviations, you have to take care of. Suppose you cannot spend within that budget, then how much you want to spend more? So what is the amount you want to spend more? So you will have a standard, and based on that you can take your deviation. So it is, in other words, a control device where you will be controlling your financial expenditure, human expenditure and the physical resources. So everything will have to fall in place. Then it is a fundamental planning instrument in many organizations. So almost all the organizations will have a budget. So it may be a budget for a year, it may be a budget for a month, or it may be budget for the next 10 years. So depending on the type of organization, so they create budgets so that it will help the organization to have a controlled environment. So you control the activities of the organization with the help of a budget, so that you can achieve the desired result, or whatever you have projected for the year, that result can be achieved when you strictly follow the budget of the organization. So with this, we come to this session on types of plans. Thank you.